All right, so today we're going to talk about shifts. And what I would like you to do is take out your calculator, and you're going to take these three equations, you're going to put them into your calculator, and then in your notebook I'd like you to just draw just a general sketch of what these pictures look like. Nothing fancy, just what kind of a shape it is and where a turning point may be. Okay, so if you want to just stop me for a minute, and if you would do that, please. Okay. So, when you drew the three graphs, you should see some similarities. Both of the, I should say all three of these graphs are parabolas. The first one should be y equals x squared, and that turning point is right here at 0, 0. Okay, then the second one is y equals x minus 2, that quantity squared. What that does is it takes the graph, the first one, y equals x squared, and it shifts it, or it moves it, and it moves it to the right a distance of 2, like that. Okay, so its turning point changes. Instead of it being at 0, 0 like the first one, it's shifting to the right, and its new turning point is 2, 0. Now the third one, and I'm going to put that one down here, which is y equals x plus 2, that quantity squared, actually shifts the y equals x squared, my original one right here. Okay, that's the original one. It shifts it to the left 2 units. Okay, so now the turning point for this one is at negative 2, 0. So you can see what's actually happening is the number that's inside the parentheses will determine which direction you're going in, but you actually go in the opposite order of the sign. So generally speaking, this is what's going to happen. If you see an equation and it goes like this, let's just use that for example. This number in here will determine a horizontal shift, so I'm going to draw this, horizontal shift, but it's going to be in the opposite direction of the sign. So for example, again, if you go and you look at, let's say, this second question right here, okay, that was a minus 2 inside the parentheses, you actually shift to the right 2. And then if you look at the third one, the same principle. X plus 2, that's a plus 2 inside the parentheses, so you actually shift to the left 2. Okay? So whenever there's a number inside the parentheses, you shift horizontally, but in the opposite direction of the sign. All right? Okay. So now, let's look at something very similar. So I want you again to take your calculator, and what I want you to do is I would like you to put these graphs into your calculator, and again, just do a general sketch of those graphs. Okay, so stop me now and go ahead and put those graphs in your notebook. All right, so y equals x squared, again, you've done this already, so it's just a parabola whose turning point is at 0, 0. Y equals x squared plus 2, you should notice that this time, oops, come on, pen, we have a shift, and I guess my pen does not want to work, so we're going to go like this. We have a shift up a distance of 2. So now my new turning point is 0, 2. And then the last one would be a shift down a distance of 2. So my new turning point here is at 0, negative 2. So when there aren't any parentheses, your shift is going to be vertical, and it's going to be in the exact order of the sign. So in other words, if you look at this second equation right here, okay, that was a plus 2, we went up 2. If you look at the third one down here, that was a minus 2, we went down 2. All right, so let me just kind of sum it all up here. So in the last slide, we had this, and now in this slide, we have something like that. So again, what this all means is anything inside the parentheses is a horizontal shift. Remember, in the opposite order of the sign. Okay, now anything that's outside the parentheses would be a vertical shift, and that would be in the exact order of the sign. So if it's a plus 2, you go up 2. If it's a minus 2, you go down 2. Okay? All right, last thing, and then we're done here, is sometimes what you'll see is you'll take a graph, again, let's just stick with x squared, and what'll happen is you'll see a negative. And let's just do something like this. Okay, so what this is doing is, look at the number inside of the parentheses is a 2, so remember that's actually a horizontal shift to the left 2. But the number outside the parentheses is a 3, which means we're going to have a vertical shift up 3. So your turning point is going to be right here at -2, comma 3. But this negative that we have here, what that's going to do is just flip your parabola. So whenever there's a negative in front of the x squared, instead of our parabola pointing upward, it's going to point downward. So it's going to look, generally speaking, it's going to behave like that. Okay? All right, so what you're going to get now is you're going to get a worksheet that's going to help you practice the rules that you just learned. Okay? So good luck.